Welcome to the month of June, 30 days all about gin, shining a spotlight on craft-made Canadian. Fun facts and proper tastings, live cocktails Friday afternoons. Discover 14 different brands and be influenced by me. Song for roll. That's right, I'm a song for roll.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 9th day of June, my annual 30-day salute to gin during the month of June. Those of you who may be tuning in for the first time may be wondering, why focus on gin? Well, fair question, and the answer lies not with the obvious, i.e. that the global gin scene has been exploding over the last 20 years, or the fact that I'm a huge fan and aficionado of the juniper-based spirit. No, the actual reason behind why I created Gi-Une 3 years ago was to try and dispel myths and shatter preconceived notions of what people think gin is. Right? And I want to try and do this by telling the stories and the history behind the brands, and also with conducting and sharing objective tastings. By doing so, I hope to show people what quality gin can be. Now this year, I am shining a spotlight on made in Canada craft gins, as we indeed have a thriving craft gin scene up here, filled with innovative, creative, and honest-to-goodness, real-deal gin distillers who deserve not only our support, but also to have their story told. Today, we're off to the heartland of Central Ontario, Peterborough, for a look and a taste of Black's Distillery Gin. Now, just before we continue though, I do need to ask anyone who may be watching this but is not yet of legal age to purchase, consume, or handle alcohol where they live to now sign off. Okay, back to Black's. Before we can understand what's in the bottle, we need to go back in time to Scotland, circa 1805. That's when David Fife was born. Now, who's David Fife, you may be asking? Well, this Scottish-born, then-turned-Canadian farmer is widely credited with developing a very hardy and very sustainable variety of wheat, the variety we know today as Red Fife. Now, around 1840, David was farming in Peterborough County, and, like a lot of other farmers at the time, he was struggling to grow wheat. The rigors of the harsh Canadian winters were really wreaking havoc on the varieties planted at that time. David took it upon himself to write to a friend of his back in Scotland and asked for some seed samples that could maybe withstand the climate over here. So his friend sent him some samples that his friend had obtained from a Polish ship that had docked in Scotland. Now, not knowing exactly what variety it was, David had to experiment with the grain, and after carefully cultivating seeds from the grains that grew over the course of several years, David found he had a winner on his hands. He cultivated a hardy, rust-resistant, and sturdy variety of wheat that would soon become the standard across Canada, and would soon see Red Fife as being the top spring wheat in all of the world. Okay, so fascinating info, I know, but you may be wondering, how does all that tie to Black's Distillery? Well, folks, that one's easy. Robert Black, the owner and distiller at Black's, he's got Scottish heritage himself and a lineage that links back to the town and to the people of Fife, Scotland. When Robert wanted to try his hand at distillation, his heritage and his location in present-day Peterborough made choosing Red Fife as the base for his alcohol distillate the hands-down obvious choice. Now, Robert believes that spirits are an extension of food, and, via his spirits, he wants to create an experience for people's palates. Fueled by a passion and a conviction to show the world what Canada, and Peterborough, Ontario specifically, what they can produce, alongside with a firm belief that there's a thirst amongst consumers to enjoy spirits with more character, Robert Black continues to embolden small craft distilling. It's all about producing something authentic and delicious while using fresh and local ingredients. A great example of that is his gin. Robert's mission with this gin was to create a savoury gin that would not disappear from the palate quickly. And I can attest, he succeeded. This indeed is a hefty and savory gin, a spirit aimed at those who are searching for boldness, body, and depth of flavor and character in their gin. Light, bright, and fruity may be all the rage, and truthfully, there's nothing wrong with that. Those styles can be quite refreshing and enjoyable. However, for me, there's something comforting and welcoming about a gin that isn't shy to showcase forthright flavors, and black gin seemingly wears this as a badge of honor. Let's go in for a closer look, shall we? Now, the recipe is based on 9 botanicals, not very many, as Robert wants each of their tastes and profiles to not get lost and not fight amongst each other. And as previously mentioned before, Robert is using local Red Fife Wheat as its base, and this one clocks in at 40% alcohol by volume. So, acclimatize our nose. 1, 2, 3. Big sniff. For me, apple jumps out. Big red apple. Then the juniper comes in. A more creamy, earthy, and deep pine note follows. Savory notes abound, right? I'm getting sage. Sage is filling up the nose, alongside some rosemary and some floral lavender notes. Now there's some lemony citrus in here, right? That helps brighten things up a bit. And I'm also getting a woody and peppery kind of tone. There's lots of heady aromas here. It's deep, it's layered, and concentrated. Now we'll have a little taste. Sláinte. We always want to move the product around, coat those 5 flavor receptors. So on the palate, it is indeed a bit hefty, but it's not clunky and it's not heavy. It's bold, it's rich. You know, there's that pine and savory sage notes that are right up front. Apple, citrus, floral, they all ring through with a little bit of some bitter wood notes and a little bit of forest floor and a peppery kick just at the back. 35, 45 seconds, you know, there's a long finish on this one with the flavors constantly shifting and moving about. Very interesting. Overall, this is small batched, hand cultivated craft gin, right? There's nothing flouncy about it. This is hearty and deep, almost rich, but it's not cloying and it's not sweet. Bold, serious, and savory, Black's is meant for the dedicated consumer who is more interested in sitting, sipping, contemplating, and studying this gin, rather than for those who want a light, bright gin to match with their maybe ice-cold flavored mixes. Which, again, nothing wrong with that. I enjoy those too from time to time. Robert Black is hands-on, and that hands-on, straightforward approach, focusing on depth of flavor and character, make me think that, you know, this is probably what old-time small batch gin tasted like back in the 19th century. And truthfully, that excites me. The Red Fife Wheat adds creaminess and an almost chew to it. Think of like maybe a full-bodied old world red wine. In my opinion, this is yet another solid example of the quality level of gin being produced in Canada. Honest, clean, and delicious. All right, so like what you hear and you're intrigued as to how you can get your hands on your own bottle, well, it is available at select LCBO locations in Ontario, stock number 17389, $40.95 for a 750 milliliter bottle. And you can also purchase right from Black's themselves. Very easy, just visit their website, blacksdistillery.com. Alrighty folks, well, that is indeed a wrap on my Black's Distillery Gin Showcase. Thank you for tuning in and for supporting our hardworking craft distillers. Now more than ever, we need to drink local, love local, and support local. And with gin, you know, there's just so much more out there than what's in those big brand international bottles. There's lots of great gin being made right here in the Great White North. Tomorrow, I'll be back again with another small batch handcrafted, made in Canada gin. And be sure to follow and share my posts across my social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. All you got to do is search for Somm for All and you're going to be all set. And hey, when you're sharing my posts, please continue to use the hashtag #SipWithSomm4All. I need your help to spread the good word on what our Canadian craft distillers are producing and to help our fellow Canadians drink better. Folks, life is too short to drink boring gin. A quick reminder, on Friday, June 11th, I will be live on Instagram at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, playing bartender and making cocktails using the 4 craft Canadian gins that I showcased this week. Mark those calendars and set those timers. Until next time, my juniper loving friends, stay safe out there, be well, and cheers from Somm for All.